Hello, Scott here, and probably from the thumbnail, you've realized that this is not going to be another completely unprofessional unboxing, but something a little different that I'm going to call a pull from the shelf. It may change, I don't know, but this is something new that I decided I would like to do with some of the games that I have that are sitting on my shelf that I've picked up, over the years that either I've never really given much attention to, haven't had a chance to play, or one of those scenarios where, as a collector, you tend to buy certain games or you receive certain games. You may take an initial glance at them, and unfortunately, they go on the shelf, awaiting to be played, awaiting to be noticed, and generally mocking you every time you walk by, begging for your attention. So some of those games, just to kind of force myself to, give them the attention they deserve, this is a good thing for me to highlight these games and other things, zines and whatnot that's associated with RPGs, and put the spotlight on them for a moment to kind of take a look at them, but likewise bring it to the attention of those who may see these videos that may not know about it, or may be curious about it and just want to know a little bit more before they put forth their hard-earned cash to purchase some of these games. So, with that, obviously, it's kind of a hard decision to decide what to pull, but it being the holiday season, this is one of those where it was relatively easy for me to at least start off with something holiday, you know, related. This particular book here, the Eldritch New England Holiday Collection. It is a game that I am familiar with. It is a game that I have discussed with many people. Certain aspects of the game has been brought to my attention. I did purchase it some time ago, but I've never really gone in depth in looking at it, to be perfectly honest. Most of my knowledge is just knowledge that's been passed on to me. So this may not be directly something like something else I may pull that still may be in the shrink wrap or whatever. But I do have a general idea of it, so I may be cheating a little bit. But still, it's the holidays. It's my channel, so screw it. This is what I'm going to do here to start off a pull from the shelf. So, with that kind of slapdash, totally rambly introduction, here we go. The Eldritch New England Holiday Collection, a Call of Cthulhu campaign of holiday-themed adventures for adolescent investigators by Oscar Rios, edited by Lisa Padol. Apologies if I'm not pronouncing that correctly, and published by Golden Goblin Press. Quite a few of you may be familiar with these particular adventures, whether individually or collectively, like they are in this particular book here. So, what is the Eldritch New England Holiday Collection? Well, the knowledge that's been passed on to me is you're a group of youngsters living in Cthulhu Country, uh, and you're either associated by relationship, cousins, brothers, sisters, possibly, or through general friendships. But the general conceit, as far as I know, is for each particular holiday, the group of you get together and make your way through some sort of Eldritch Cthulhu scenario as kids, whether it be a mystery or some sort of conflict. And you then part ways, at which time you get back together during another holiday. You're a little bit older, a little bit wiser, and, Eldritch hilarity ensues, for lack of a better term. So let's take a look at it. So first off, what you get is with this, at least what I received is generally a handout, and what it looks to be is a picture of the kids involved in the scenarios to put in a frame and kind of highlight it. This is the remembrance of the Christmas where all of these things started to occur, and it looks like it's slightly a tongue-in-cheek picture. Obviously, because this particular gent in the corner holding the bloody axe, the studious child here on the bottom holding some sort of tome of mystery, and quite a few other things that may highlight what you experience within the book. Little spoilers here and there, or little Easter eggs. So, set that aside. Okay, so what we have is illustrations by David Lee Ingersoll. Maps are done by Gregory Shipp, and layout is by Mark Shireman. Once again, the book is authored by Oscar Rios and edited by Lisa Padol. And we'll go through the table of contents. So you're going to have the introduction, the history of the Morgan family tree, presenting the cousins. So I believe you're all related as cousins. The Bartholomew High Point School for the Deaf, Halloween in Dunwich, Christmas in Kingsport, Easter in Arkham, Innsmouth, Independence Day, and then I believe that's the last scenario, and then where there's some appendices where they kind of go through some additional aspects of the cousins through the years, the beginning, best friends forever, all grown up, all pulped out, handouts and maps. So, and this was already presented to me, but as it stands is you're kind of expected to take these children, these pre-gens, and play them because the scenario is designed specifically for them. But if you do make it through to the final conclusion of the adventures, what they provided for you is, if you've become attached to these characters, is utilizing them in further adventures as they grow up. As far as friendships that may occur, all grown up, so there'll be adult stats for Call of Cthulhu, and also if you'd like to utilize them in the pulp setting, which is fantastic. As far as I'm concerned, that is a wonderful way, to give players a reason to play pre-gens. I know some people don't mind, but other people are entirely against pre-gens. They feel it, detracts from, the player's ability to personalize these characters and make them their own. And either way is fine, and either way is right. But at least it kind of sweetens the deal for those who may be on the fence to, who are playing for these pre-gens and may want to consider these adventures to be not isolated and one-and-done one-shots, but actually the beginning of a long-term campaign that rather starts as an adult. You actually start as these children and then progress into your Call of Cthulhu campaign through your adult years. So this was I believe, yes, this was a Kickstarted book. So, and this was not a Kickstarter, by the way. I purchased this used, I think. I don't know, maybe. But it originally was Kickstarted. So we go through the inspiration and the origins, some tips for the keepers, tips for the players. And we've got the history of the Morgan family as they go through the different aspects and to kind of what leads to why this particular family is being involved with the mythos. There's a way to create secondary and generic family members within the group. They have some examples of 4 random family members, which is nice. So already you are provided tools to personalize this, even though you're not necessarily personalizing every aspect of the pre-gens, but aspects of them outside of that. Family members, people that occur, or people that may pop in and out of their lives, but not necessarily directly influencing the outcome for the characters, but can definitely assist in one way or another. So who do we have? Who are the people that we're playing here within these scenarios? So they are cousins, and the timeline itself says here to recommend to start in October of 1925 and will end in July of 26. Obviously, it's saying you can be moved earlier in the decade. The order in which the scenarios are meant to be played is beginning with Halloween, on to Christmas, into Easter, and then concluding with Independence Day. says here they shouldn't start later than October 25th because of the timing of events, the shadow over Innsmouth. When Robert Olmsted visits Innsmouth in July of 1927, resulting in the government raid on the town in February of 1928. Therefore, keepers should make sure that Innsmouth Independence Day takes place at least a year before those events begin. So that's, once again, they are setting you up to really play through a very in-depth historical. I mean, as far as the Lovecraft and the Lovecraft mythos history is concerned, and have a very broad and well-rounded setting to place your campaign in, with kids that are going to be deeply connected to the things that occur in future scenarios, whereas people who might start off completely oblivious as they stumble through these things that they experience later in life. So, who are these cousins? We have a Gordon Brewster. Gordon Brewster is 12. He's going to turn 13 after Christmas. His archetype is the defender. Protects the weak, the innocent, his friends, and family. He hates bullies. So I'm not going to go too in-depth in this because I really don't want this initial page through to be 2 hours long. But so you have your idea here. So you have an archetype. So great. So you have a general idea of the type of person he is, and that makes it easy for your players to decide if that's something that they would like to portray, or if they want to see what the other options are. So next up, we have Gertrude Gertie Constance Pope, born on June 12th. Gertie is 11 at the start of the campaign, and she'll turn 12 before Easter. Her archetype is the dreamer. Thoughtful, often seems distracted, but wise beyond her years. So next up, we have Edward Derby, born April 26. He is 11 also, turns 12 between Easter and Independence Day. His archetype is a bookworm. He's very logical, studious, avid reader, intelligent, a bit of a homebody, and kind of has an H.P. Lovecraft look about him. So I don't know if that's intentional, but it can be assumed so. Next up, we have George Whedon. He is 13, so far I believe he is the oldest of the cousins. His archetype is a champion. He's outgoing, physically fit, good at sports, morally upstanding. So he's kind of the jock, but with a sense of morality around him. So he might be the natural leader of the group, but also kind of helps to complement Gordon as the defender. And moving on, next we have cousins from Kingsport. Here we have Donald Sutton, born December 12th. He is also 12, and he turns 13 between Halloween and Christmas. His archetype, he is the artist, skilled in drawing, quiet, observant, creative, sensitive, a tad mysterious. So he might kind of also be a Lovecraft archetype, at least bits and pieces of it selected. And then finally, we have the cousin from Innsmouth. So it was brought up that there's one of the cousins that has a connection to Innsmouth. If it doesn't spoil it here, I think some of you can probably put two and two together. And I don't know if this would be something that would be outright knowledge if you're playing through the game, but we'll take a quick look at it. So Alice she was born March 16th. She is 13. So we have another one who is one of the oldest ones of the group. She turns 14 between Christmas and Easter. Her archetype is the investigator. So cunning, proud, manipulative, intimidating, brusque, and ruthless. So, yes, whether she has the direct connection to the situation at Innsmouth, we'll let that be for now, and that's something that you can find out if you pick this game up. So as we go through, this is the beginning of the Halloween scenario. So now we're entering into spoiler territory. I'm not going to go in depth into these things. I'm going to page through them, but just a heads up, as with any adventure, there's a good chance that some sort of spoiler is going to pop up on the screen. So if you don't want any of this to be spoiled, you can obviously skip through further ahead if you like. Okay, so as stated, we have the Halloween scenario, which is where they suggest you begin. And if I'm not mistaken, there's quite a bit of there's several handouts that may not necessarily be important to the adventure themselves, but they're designed to help flesh out and make the aspect of the holidays that you're playing within a little bit more intimate. So there's going to be things such as sing-alongs here. This is, I assume, this may or may not be pertinent to the adventure itself, but it's something to help people get into the spirit of the holiday, especially if you're not playing these games with their respective holidays themselves. Which might be interesting, now that I think about it, is to actually have a group of people. And by the way, it is recommended that you have the full group if possible. I believe, whether there's 6, 7 maybe, regardless, it is recommended that if you can have the full group of kids or players to portray the kids to really appreciate the aspect of the campaign. But backtracking a little bit, this would be something that would be really cool to have a group of players who would be able to meet either physically or online during the actual holidays that are being portrayed here and play these adventures to completion. Because the time that they spend apart, I would assume, is also portrayed within the game. So obviously, you take several months off between these individual settings. People's attentions are going to be diverted. They're going to forget certain things, which I would imagine would play out in the scenario also. Okay. And so just kind of giving a flip through a little bit more here. Sorry if my voice trails off a little bit. I've got a new setup going on, and I'm just trying to make sure that the book is remaining within shot. And likewise, the sound of this new microphone is functioning the way it's supposed to. Okay. And here's we're flipping through. So the initial scenario of the Halloween adventure looks like it's approximately, let's see here, 20 pages or so, including handouts and including information on the NPCs and monsters within the game. So they're not huge. So these seems like it could be something that could be done, especially during the busier holidays. I know during Christmas, it's a little bit harder to get people together, but a lot easier when you're not having to, if you can squeeze in a 3-hour session as opposed to, 2 4-hour sessions or 3 or whatever the case may be. So the next adventure is Christmas in Kingsport, and we opening with the cast and additional handouts and information. And there's a very, very detailed map of Kingsport in 1922. Excuse me, I'm going to take a little drink here. I'm a little dry from our weather here. Oh, thank you. Sorry about that. And so we've got additional handouts going through here, information. We have suggestions for holiday music in the 20s. Fantastic. Looks like there's also a chance that the characters might go caroling, which could be a lot of fun for you and your players, or at least from a keeper point of view. Manipulating the players to do silly things sometimes is a lot of fun. Manipulating may be the wrong word, but it's for my entertainment, so yes, it fits. All right, so as we continue page 3, so this one seems to be a little longer. Oh, there's a Krampus reference here. So, enter the Krampus. So, that may be a bit of a spoiler. Wow, a very detailed sheet on the Krampus monster. And so it looks like this particular adventure may have to have some dealings within the Dreamlands. And continuing on. And it looks like this is Christmas morning. And awards, and likewise NPC information. So, so the Christmas one seems to be a little bit longer, and takes place in two different areas. Excuse me a moment. So, but that one looks like, I mean, it involves Krampus. I mean, what's not to like about that? Anything that involves Krampus during the holiday season has got to be a blast. So next up we have Easter. So you would have gone through two different scenarios without looking at the details or the keeper hints or the keeper notes or whatever. Even though this is a Call of Cthulhu scenario, I'm not entirely sure on the lethality of it. If there's a chance that any one of these kids could potentially die, or if it's set up to be more bringing everyone to the brink, maybe something like Tales from the Loop, where no one actually dies, but could definitely make for a lot of tension, and portraying the aspect of you just might die. I don't see how it could continue though if as you're going through these adventures, these kids start dropping off. So I would imagine there's some sort of way to at least keep them from dying, not becoming totally wrecked and twisted from what they're witnessing, but at the very least get them through these adventures before you decide to carry on, at which time it's open season. So here we are. More handouts regarding the Easter, fun things to do in Arkham. So I believe that's other ways to flesh out the world and also the holiday that you are playing in. Wait, did that say hobo ambush? All right. Nobody expects a hobo ambush. And we are still going through Easter, and that's an interesting picture. Definitely full of spoilers, so cover your eyes. Children dealing with ghouls. Okay. Zombies with pistols, it looked like. So as I stated earlier, there's a spoiler warning. So so interesting. So yeah, this is definitely seems like it's something that's covering a lot of the stereotypes, giving a well-rounded view of the things that are going on in Lovecraft Country. And what we did, sorry, did I pass? Yes. Okay. So then we have the final, the final holiday here, Independence Day. So visit scenic Innsmouth, Massachusetts. As we kind of continue on through here, quite a few NPCs to deal with, which, depending on your comfort level as a keeper, some people really enjoy that. Others just don't like going too far off the deep end because it's a juggle to maintain the different personalities, and sometimes it becomes a distraction. And so we have the kids here on a wonderful picture on the beach, doing what kids would normally do, creating a sandcastle. But as you can see, in the background, you've got a couple regular-looking people and some other people that kind of have the Innsmouth look about them. So an intermingling. And continuing on, fireworks escape into Innsmouth. As they're on the beach at night dealing with some sort of crab monsters. Seaport of Innsmouth, Massachusetts. These maps are beautiful, by the way. The style that they're in, the old school style. These would definitely be something that if they're available in high depth and printable, some of these would definitely be nice to have as full table maps. And continuing on through Independence Day, and we see some more involvement from, looks like the people of Innsmouth. And it seems like okay, so here we are. So we're at the conclusion with the NPCs involved, and then finally the cousins throughout the years. So concluding with the Independence Day scenario. So the initial one seems to be fairly short, whereas the others tend to get more in-depth, more involved, and a little bit more lengthy as you progress. So here we are. So then we have the standard Call of Cthulhu character sheets with the cousins themselves. And you'll see there's the initial photograph of, the handout that you have that you could frame, but along with others. So yeah, so here's the kids that you're playing through the game as they get older. And this looks like if you want to utilize them as full-fledged PCs in, as adults in Cthulhu. And that one looks to be more pulpy, so I assume that's them playing as pulp investigators. So yes, very, very nice very nice character sheets as we kind of go through with the additional information and sections to take notes, which is nice. New skills, items acquired, important NPCs. Having places to take notes in Call of Cthulhu is always necessary. All right, so did I skip something? Okay, so these are additional characters that you could play. Polly Johnson, who is Gordon Brewster's best BFF. And then we have a Zane Fleming, Gertie Pope's BFF, Thomas Quinn, Edward Derby's BFF, Shauna Broussard, George Whedon's BFF, and Vitas Varnas, Donald Sutton's BFF, and Lee Turney, Alessandra's BFF. So that kind of tells me that there might be a possibility of lethality within the game. These look like optional characters to play, or actually characters to play if someone happens to die. Or, I mean, if you wanted to have additional people play, I suppose. I don't know. It's one of those things that, reading it more in depth would clear that up. But right there, having extra characters aside in Call of Cthulhu prepped and ready to go tells me that the possibility of lethality is definitely going to be there, or is a viable option. So the cousins all grown up. So here we are. It is now sometime between 1934 and 1936. The cousins are all in their early 20s, making their way in the world. They still keep in touch, but not as often as they like. Here's a quick rundown on what they are doing now. So let's see here. They are in their 20s, along with some information on the back. So we'll just kind of take a little flip through of these. And which, as stated earlier, it's a wonderful, thoughtful option. Something they obviously did not have to do, but is fantastic that you have that there. And then we have the cousins all pulped up. Once again, not necessary, but having these things makes the transition seamless if you'd like to continue on with their adventures. And done in the Pulp Cthulhu character sheet style. And then, of course, we have the handouts. Very nice. Very nice. Some thought and effort were put into these. And I couldn't tell you if these are available in PDF for download to print out or use in in a VTT. I would imagine so, but I don't know if the PDF is something that is optional. Or I don't mean by optional, sorry, is something you automatically get with the book. Because I didn't see any sort of code. But as with all things, can definitely contact Golden Goblin Press to see if that is an option. So, in conclusion, what we have here is the Eldritch New England Holiday Collection. You have a general idea of what it's about. It's the kids growing up in the Eldritch corners of New England, and the variety of scenarios: Halloween in Dunwich, a dark night of ghost stories on Great Grandpa Silas's farm; Christmas in Kingsport, a magical holiday filled with surprises, adventure, magic, and horror; Easter in Arkham, a week-long holiday in Arkham filled takes a very dark turn. Maybe I'm not reading that correctly. That sounds like it's missing something. A week-long holiday in Arkham filled takes a very dark turn. Whatever. Innsmouth Independence Day, a long weekend on the beach leads to rebellion and secrets. So, and let's see here. This was a retail price of $50. I know that I got this for less, as it was a used book. But still, $50. The amount of information that you get within this book to provide you not only with probably one of the better ways to play characters with a very rich backstory that you actively have participated in and molded to make your own. Well worth the price. I mean, there are plenty of books out there that I know that go for about the same price. And mind you, the information that they have varies from source to source. Sorry, and it is a paperback, but to me that those are unimportant aspects. What's inside of it? Just through this initial page through, a veritable wealth of opportunities for a year-long campaign or longer of Call of Cthulhu, with these wonderful diverse characters that already have these baked-in connections. They're going to go into their adulthood with some knowledge of the mythos, and could just that alone could definitely change the dynamic of the game that you're playing, and for the better. In my opinion, of course. Others may feel differently, but c'est la vie. That's how things are. So yes. So thank you. This has been a fantastic page through of the Eldritch New England Holiday Collection. One of those things where, I'm very glad that I purchased this book. It's something that I would most definitely want to use, whether it be just for one-shots to go through these scenarios with all the wonderful details that they have, and if possible, actually have an active campaign with this. And where it goes from there is also, so many wonderful options. So, not knowing the full details of the adventures, I couldn't give an actual review of it, but just the page through. Fantastic job, Oscar Rios. Fantastic job, Lisa Padol, Golden Goblin Press, and everyone else involved in bringing this book together. For those who are looking for a different kind of Call of Cthulhu game. Very happy I got this. Very happy I got to go through with it, and very happy for those who watch this video through the end, because I would imagine it's getting a little long in the tooth, but it is a thick book. So yes, so this is a pull from the shelf. Hope this didn't drone on and on and on, but this is a different kind of thing than the unboxing videos that I'm doing. And this now has become not something sitting on the shelf, wondering when I'm going to look at it, but has now become a priority, which is kind of what I'm hoping becomes with the things that I pull from the shelf, whether they become a priority for me or a priority for those who see this video and decide they would like to seek this and others out for their own use, their own players, and their own table. So thank you so much for spending your time with me. And I know a lot of you have some more important things to get on to. It is the holidays, as do I. So with that, this is a pull from the shelf. My name is Scott. Thank you. And feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. Pass the word on about these videos. And I look forward to the next time that I pull something from the shelf or the next unboxing I do. And I guess what I'm trying to say is goodbye. Have a wonderful and happy holiday. And we'll see you all real soon. Take care.